Hello and welcome back to Nolan Financial Radio. My name is Chris McKinney from Nolan Financial Partners. If you'd like more information about what you hear during our show today, give us a call at 719-210-4242 or visit us online at our website, nolanfinancialpartners.com. And while at our website, click on the radio page, check out our past shows, and subscribe to our program on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube Music, or Amazon Music. Take advantage of retirement accounts like 401ks, IRAs. These are tax advantage accounts that you are probably part of, right? They're an essential part of everybody's retirement system. But it's important to note that you don't keep every penny you contribute to those accounts due to taxes. Income taxes are often required on distributions from your retirement accounts, but there are some potential steps you can take to minimize the size of the tax bill that you'll face when taking withdrawals from your retirement accounts. And be sure to chat about tax-related matters with your qualified tax professional, a CPA, right? So we're going to go over some of the things that will help you, give you some insight into a better way to deal with those funds that still have this tax liability on that. But before we start looking at strategies on how to save money on your taxes, let me introduce you to my co-host, Tony Shore, who I know is ready for a fabulous 2024. Did you do anything fun over the last month?
Oh, yeah. I did. I went to Nash Vegas. I think I talked about that a little bit. Went to a financial conference in Nashville. I just got back from Chicago where I helped a client set up a podcast studio. He moved into new offices and he had some extra space. So he turned one of his rooms into a, kind of a Zoom, a video and podcasting room. And I told him what equipment to order. And then he had this room with a big pile of boxes that he'd gotten sitting in the middle of it. He took a picture and said, Tony, come down, come over to Chicago. I'll pay your way. Help me set up my studio. I need you to set it all up. I got everything you ordered me. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I went out there and set it up, including like in a box of brand new Dell computers. So I'm like, okay, so I had to set the computer up. And you know how long it takes to set up a new computer and get the software on it you want and get it running like you want?
2 hours?
Yeah, a good 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did all that, but it was fun and great guy. It was fun to hang out in Chicago. But when you and Tara build your own studio with state-of-the-art equipment to do video and podcasting, I will give you a list of what you need to order and I'll come out and set it up. I'll show you pictures of this guy's studio. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see that. We have our own homemade studio and always trying to make it a little better and make the sound quality a little better. And
sure,
we're always interested in that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got a pretty good setup there. So it sounds nice and quiet. So that's good. Well, other than that, you've just been keeping busy between traveling for work and recording shows and doing voiceover work. I've been really busy. How about you? What have you been up to, Chris?
I've been really busy. Tara's been traveling a lot, so I've been taking care of the house. And then we've had cold snaps. We had the water go out for the horses.
Oh no!
We had, just all kinds of little things you've got to deal with. When winter is been very bitterly cold over the month of January. And so,
oh wow,
looking forward to the end of February.
Yeah, I bet. So, yeah. Well, the horses, you got to take care of them. And I know you've been busy also taking care of clients and meeting with people meeting with our listeners who call in, setting up appointments to get their plans in place. So you have been busy, because I know Tara has been out traveling a bit, and she's out there saving the world. We need her out there, so that's good, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's excited. She's moving along in her career. Everything's been going great. She's got a new job. She's not going to be going to Europe as much. So it's all
that's good. That's good. I mean, in one way, it's good. I know you enjoyed going over there and seeing Europe with her while she was over there. That was fun. But I know you have a lot of work to do there at home, the horses, the clients, and our listeners each week. So today, what do you have for us? What are we talking about? You said we're talking about retirement strategies for those account withdrawals from all our retirement accounts, right?
Right. So we're specifically going to talk about 401ks, 403bs, personal IRAs, the traditional IRAs, those type of things, because those accounts still have taxes associated with them. They also have early withdrawal penalties. So that's the first thing I'm going to talk about is if you take money out of a traditional IRA before age 59 and a half, there's a 10% penalty early withdrawal. So you want to make sure you avoid that. Don't take money out. Make sure you have, if you're one of those lucky few that have can retire before age 59 and a half, make sure that you're not trying to spend money out of a traditional IRA before you get to 59 and a half, right? So the other thing is there's a thing that I didn't really know till I started kind of researching this subject. You can take penalty-free withdrawals. Now you still have to pay the income tax, but when you reach 55, if you separate from a job, you can take penalty-free withdrawals from your 401k. Okay, that's
not from an IRA. Yeah, from a 401k. Sometimes a 403b, you can take withdrawals if you're 55 or older and you leave that job. But if you start a new job, then you can no longer do that, I think is the rule.
That is rule. You have to not be working, and you have to have left the job within 1 year of turning 55.
Yeah. So, but overall, that's probably a rare occurrence these days, but overall it's 59 and a half for any tax deferred withdrawals. And that 10% penalty you talked about, Chris, that's hefty. And that's on top of the taxes you will owe on that money you withdrew. So really, those are retirement accounts, and that's why they have those penalties. It's for retirement. Most people don't retire before age 60.
Yeah, the government gives us these great ways of investing and letting taxes defer, and so they have got all these rules around it so that you're using it for what you said you're going to use it for.
Yeah,
and that's understandable.
Yeah, that makes sense. I want to apologize to our listeners if I have a sneezing fit or sound a little under the weather. I've got a massive sinus infection and head cold today.
Man,
so I apologize. Yeah, it is that time of year. It happens to me every year around this time with temperature changes.
Now, if you have an IRA and you can avoid some early withdrawal penalties if you use the money for medical bills or college costs or purchasing a first home. So, you still pay some taxes, just about your ordinary income tax, but you can avoid the early withdrawal penalties if you have a specific reason. So if you're in that category and you have some medical bills or college costs, you can do that. So keep that in mind. If you do need money, there is a way to get money out of an IRA early without paying penalties.
But you wouldn't recommend that because that money is for retirement, right?
No, it's for retirement, right? So who's buying their first home when they have a bunch of money in an IRA? Probably not too many people,
right?
Most people have already bought their home by the time they are reaching that kind of age where they're going to try and pull money out. So most of these things will not apply, but they do have them in there in case there's a need. Right?
Sure, and I think making sure that your retirement withdrawal strategy is squared away is an excellent reason to work with somebody like yourself, because you know these rules, the ins and outs, and avoiding penalties. You help your clients do that, avoid those penalties, and make plans so they don't have to access that money. I think that's really key. So, what's next?
So, you are able to roll over 401k without being taxed into a traditional IRA. And so those are things that you really need to look at doing. There are some additional administrative costs that go into 401ks. So usually there's some costs you don't know about, that you don't see, that to keep that 401k established. And typically that's, I don't know, $300 or $400 a year, depending on where it is. But the IRAs do not have that cost. Okay. So, depending on how all that comes through, it may be very advantageous for you to roll over a 401k into a traditional IRA, something that you have complete control of. It's a personal IRA. You meet with your financial professional and you decide where that money gets invested, and don't leave it with that old company. The challenge that a lot of people have had, when they left their 401ks with old companies, some of that money was actually in the stock of that old company, because that's how they did some of their profit sharing or something. And then if that company has issues going with, in the stock market, and they go down, they lose a lot of their retirement savings that way. So we've had that happen in 2001, 2008, and again in 2015. There's been some times when a certain company, right, goes down, and then you're stuck. You can't get your money out of there fast enough, because you have to go through this process to move your money out of a 401k.
Yeah.
And you don't have super good control of it. So we recommend putting money into a personal IRA before or after you retire, and before you hit, age 70, at least before age 70.
So basically what you're saying is, and I heard this line once, someone told me, the great Chuck Lucius of Gradient fame, he told me, Tony, because at one time I had 401ks at two different companies, and he said, Tony, if you're not working there, why should your money be working there? And that's a great point. If you leave a company, you should there are different options, and you've talked about this on the show. I know from you, Chris, you said, your choices are to leave it there, but that's not a good one. Don't do that. Or you can roll it into your new company's 401k if you're going to a new company, or you can move it into an IRA. And there are many reasons to do that, but don't do any of those things without working with a financial professional like yourself, because there are very costly mistakes you can make when doing a rollover or a conversion, right?
That's right. You want to make sure that you're doing that rollover the exact right way, preferably via direct transfer. So that way you're not. There's some rules about rollovers versus direct transfer, and we like to do direct transfers. And so that's getting way in the weeds, but that's how we manage things through direct transfers. The other things, now that we're talking about transfers, is we got to talk about required minimum distributions. So when you hit age 73, if you're not already getting required distributions, the new age is age 73. Okay. For some people, they had started when they're 70 and a half. Well, now it's 73. And so if you have money in a traditional 401k or an IRA, you must take out money at age 73. So the penalty for missing one of those distributions is 25% of the total that you should have withdrawn. Wow. So if you were supposed to take out $10,000, then there's a penalty of $2,500. So you want to
plus the taxes you're going to owe on that money,
plus the taxes. So you're 25% to the penalty, plus the, say, 24% to taxes, you're looking at half that money going to the tax man. So make sure that you're working with that financial professional that's got that in mind. So the other thing about these RMDs is you got to make sure you don't take the distribution twice in the same year. So this can happen, especially to people when they're taking it the first time, because you don't have that first withdrawal, you don't have to take until April of the following year that you turn 73. So, but you have to take the one before the end of the calendar year. So you could take two in that first year that you're taking those distributions. And so you got to make sure that you don't pile up your distributions. Why? Because if that distribution is significant, that could bump you into a higher tax bracket, and you could be paying more in taxes. So you want to make sure, especially a lot of people, they reach 73 and they got maybe $2 million in a 401k. That's a significant distribution that could definitely, if you took two distributions in the same year, it could definitely bump you into a new tax bracket.
Yeah. And you got to watch out. And really, this whole conversation about withdrawals from retirement accounts and coming up with strategies and making sure you're working with a financial services professional like yourself, a lot of it centers around taxes, minimizing your tax burden, not getting hit with these ticking tax time bombs. You mentioned a scenario that can easily happen where half the money that you're trying to withdraw could go to Uncle Sam, and you don't want that. So how can our listeners out there get a hold of you and set up a consultation, the initial consultation? There's no charge, no obligation, but just get a plan started and to make sure they don't make these kinds of mistakes.
Give us a call at 719-210-4242. We can set up that complimentary consultation. If you mention that you are calling off the radio show, we'll have a free book called Money Moves by Tara Nolan for you when we first meet. So be sure to mention that. Give us a call at 719-210-4242 to set up that complimentary consultation. And hey, visit us at our website, nolanfinancialpartners.com. You can check us out. It's a real pretty website. You can check out our past radio shows and listen to some other things. I want to get back to distributions. So RMDs in the future are going to rise to age 75. So for myself, I'm going to be 75 before I hit RMDs. So that kind of changes some of our planning, that we have this extra time from when we are going to retire. Not that I'm going to retire by the time I'm 75, but if you have that extra 2 years, that can change some of your planning on how you may move some of that money around and distribute those funds. One of the things that some of my clients use is if you have a traditional IRA, you can donate money to a charity. If you're older than 70 and a half, you can avoid paying income tax on the IRA withdrawal for as much as $100,000 or $200,000 for couples per year if you contribute those funds to a charity, right? So you wouldn't pay the taxes on it. The charity gets the funds, and then you talk to your CPA about how you can get that contribution applied to your tax when you settle your taxes with the IRS. So funneling some of those retirements savings into an after-tax Roth account is also a great way to provide tax-free investment growth and tax-free withdrawals during later years. And that's something that we help our clients with a lot, is once they get into retirement, we start funneling as much money as we can. We keep them in the same tax bracket, so we don't cost them any more money than they were going to pay on those funds. And we move those funds into an after-tax Roth account. and those have no required minimum distributions. There's no more taxes on those funds anymore. And so it's a great way to place to put your money. It's also a great place to put your money if you're going to then planning to move that money to heirs, because there's no taxes owed on those funds, right? So it's a great thing to do, but you want to make sure you're doing it the right way. The tax situations change every year, so you got to be up to date on that. Make sure you're working with somebody who understands what the impacts of those are.
Yeah, the tax code changes all the time, and you've talked about the benefits of Roths
Yes.
numerous times before, but I know we really want to drive this point home because, like you said, Roth IRAs grow tax-free.
That's right.
And so when you take it out at any point after you've had the Roth 5 years, you can take out all the money completely tax-free, both the principal and the growth. And it's going to grow all that compounding interest just like it would in an IRA. But the difference is against the traditional or a 401k or other vehicles, it all comes out tax-free.
That's right. And so if you're required your required minimum distribution, if you've got that low enough, and then you can pull money from your Roth to help support your retirement spending plan, then you can still have all of your money and not pay quite so much money in taxes. Keep yourself in a lower tax rate by using a combination of these two tax strategies. Now, so there is potential danger that when you put money into a Roth, whether it's a 401k or a Roth IRA, you might be expecting a higher tax bracket in retirement. You might not. So it's something that's really got to be balanced of, where do you see yourself in retirement? Is the tax bracket higher now or higher later? We don't know. We know that the 2017 Tax Act is due to expire at the end of next year, I believe. And so it's something that we're really keeping an eye on and making sure that we get money moved before those new tax laws go back into effect, right? So that 2017 Tax Act is going to sunset pretty soon.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we all know taxes are going to go up, right? I mean,
sure.
That's the bottom line. So taxes keep going up and up. So you might want to take advantage of the Roth conversion now while taxes are on sale, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So you come in and see us about that, because we can help you manage that to the best of your ability. It also has there's a lot of impacts to other things in your retirement if you do this. So you got to make sure that those other things aren't impacted.
That is right for you, right? Because you lose out on the tax advantage now because you get a tax break now because you can defer taxes. So instead of paying taxes on that money this year, I put it into a traditional IRA or my 401k, and I don't have to worry about paying taxes now, but I will have to pay taxes on that money later. Versus a Roth, everything you put in there, you have to pay taxes on it first, right?
That's right. So the goal here is to prioritize paying taxes on your money when the rate is at its lowest. And that's always what we want to try to do. We can only predict so much, but we know some things are going to happen. We don't see, any movement on taxes going to happen over the next year with the current state of our government. I don't think they're going to be able to get anything done in that realm. So it'll be a few years. So I'm pretty sure we're on schedule to have that 2017 Tax Act sunset.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. And so I really want to encourage our listeners to give you a call, Chris. Set up that consultation. Don't make any of these moves without working with a financial services professional. And Chris, I know you love to hear from our listeners. So again, how can they get a hold of you?
So they can reach me at 719-210-4242. Give us a call. We'll set up that complimentary consultation. Get your hands on a free book called Money Moves by Nolan. Give us a call at 719-210-4242.
All right. Well, I know this has been an important topic so far today.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about strategies for retirement withdrawals that we need to know about?
Well, there's one thing I see a lot of people make a mistake in is that they have their um, some investments that have long-term capital gains that receive special tax treatment, and they put it inside retirement accounts. And I'm like, why did you do that? Well, because we could defer the taxes. It's like, well, why would you want to when the taxes are lower on that than they are on your ordinary income? You changed that tax benefit on long-term capital gains into ordinary income. And so long-term capital gains get taxed at a lot lower rate than ordinary income typically. Sometimes it's 0, sometimes it's 15, sometimes it's 20. Most people, it's going to be 15%. So if you're in any kind of tax bracket, 15% usually sounds pretty good to people. So make sure that if you do have, investments that have long-term capital gains, you don't put them into a retirement account. Don't buy those type of things in your retirement account.
Yeah.
You're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
And so just do it outside.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's a mistake a lot of people do make. I bet you've seen people make that mistake.
right.
Yeah.
Now we talked about doing charitable contributions earlier. So when you do a qualified contribution, it has to come from an individual IRA, a personal IRA, right? You can't come out of a 401k. It can't come from that. That's pretty much it. Just a personal IRA. And so you can do those contributions directly from that IRA. And that's how you want it done. You want it to set up a direct transfer to that charity of your choice. Now you have to get the information from the charity. You have to have their TIN number. You have to have where the money is going to go. And so that check will be sent directly to them from the financial institution. I help my clients with this all the time. We have a form, fill out the form, money moves. It works great. But make sure you do it that way. That way you qualify for that tax break and you get that. So it has to go to that qualified charity, right? So it's got to be a qualified charity. It has to go to an IRA trustee kind of thing. So make sure that 501c3 organization can accept tax-free IRA charitable contributions.
Yeah.
Get their information on it. If they can't give you that information, then they're not qualified. Don't do it because it won't work. You won't get the benefit of that unless you just want to give them the money and then it's just a charity, right?
Yeah, and then you'll have to pay taxes on it though.
But that's pay the taxes.
Yeah.
On it. That's
so
right.
So all of these things, just tell me once again, work with a professional like yourself, Chris, and we're almost out of time. Is there anything else you want to add for our listeners before we go today?
No, I just really want to tell them that how you spend your money in retirement is almost as important as how you save it, right? Because by spending your money the right way, you can extend the life of your money 5, 6, 7 years. If you organize your retirement funds in a way that you can take advantage of tax rates and the way taxes come to you or leave your world, you can extend those funds a number of years. So it's really important to have a good game plan on how you're going to pull money from your taxable accounts and your non-taxable accounts.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, Chris, great show today. Listeners, thank you for tuning in. That does it for today's episode of Nolan Financial Radio with our host, Chris McKinney.
Don't forget to visit our website at nolanfinancialpartners.com and give us a call at 719-210-4242. Join us again soon for another episode of Nolan Financial Partners Radio. Take care, and we'll talk to you again.
Sorry, Chris.